38 years old. That age when most footballers hang up their boots, seek a quiet retirement, or settle for being legends of the past. But Lionel Messi is still the best in the world. How is it possible for a player at that age to dominate Major League Soccer as if he were 20 years younger? They said he was coming for a vacation, that his arrival at Inter Miami was a victory lap before final retirement. They were wrong. Completely. Because what you just saw in that thumbnail is no coincidence. In this video, you're going to discover 3 things. First, how Messi just signed the most dominant season in United States history. Second, a montage of his 29 goals and the magical connection with a team that proves his magic is intact. And finally, the exact moment he lifts the MLS Cup, closing the circle as the player with the most titles in history. Stay until the end of the video and you will understand the reason behind it all. Because this isn't normal football. It is history happening before your eyes. Let's go back to the start of the 2025 season. Inter Miami was dragging the shadow of an inconsistent previous season. They had won the Supporters' Shield in 2024, yes, but they fell in the first round of the playoffs. The media narrative was brutal. Messi wins regular games, but disappears when it matters. Doubts were growing. Could a team built around a 38-year-old player really win everything? Analysts pointed to the same problem: excessive dependence on a single figure. If Messi failed, the project collapsed. But something changed during the preseason. It wasn't a visible change in the tactics of Gerardo Martino, who was no longer in charge. Javier Mascherano, his former national team teammate, took over the bench with a clear mission: to build a system that didn't just depend on Messi, but empowered him. The difference is subtle but devastating. In the first weeks of training, Mascherano implemented constant rotations in the midfield. Sergio Busquets remained the anchor, but new names began orbiting around the number 10. Yannick Bright, a fullback converted into a midfielder, started appearing in unexpected positions. Diego Gomez, on loan to Brighton, left a void that forced the team to reinvent itself. The first official match arrived with that characteristic tension of beginnings. Inter Miami faced a direct rival at Chase Stadium. The stands were vibrating, pink and black flooded every corner. Messi walked out of the tunnel with that serene expression we know, but his eyes said something else. There was fire there. In the 12th minute, he received a ball in the attacking third, spun around avoiding 2 markers, and opened a 40-meter pass that fell like a feather at Luis Suárez's foot. Goal. 1-0. But it wasn't the goal that caught people's attention. It was the ease with which he made it look simple. Because here is the first fact that no one connected at the time. Messi had not lost mental speed. His body might be slower, yes, but his reading of the game had become almost supernatural. In that first month of competition, he completed more than 85% of long passes. We aren't talking about safe sideways touches. We are talking about balls that broke entire defensive lines. Rivals tried to press him high, but he waited for the exact moment, that second of distraction, to execute. And while the spotlights remained on his goals, something deeper was happening. The team began to understand that Messi didn't need to run the whole field if they ran for him. Jordi Alba pushed up the left with the confidence of knowing the ball would arrive. Sergio Busquets recovered deep positions, anticipating where the ball would fall after each attack. It was a perfect orchestra where the conductor barely moved from the center of the stage, yet every musician knew exactly when to play their note. If this is blowing your mind, hit like right now so more people can see it. Then came the match against Nashville. Mid-March, a direct duel for the lead in the Eastern Conference. The rival stadium was full. Hostile chants rained down from the stands. Messi received a hard foul 5 minutes in. He got up slowly, touching his right ankle. The cameras focused on his face. He didn't even protest. He simply looked at the referee, nodded, and returned to his position. 10 minutes later, he took a free kick from 25 meters out. The wall organized itself. The goalkeeper shouted instructions. And Messi placed the ball in the top left corner with millimetric precision. The keeper didn't even jump. He knew it was useless. But what no one saw was what happened at halftime. Locker room cameras captured a moment that later leaked on social media. Messi sitting on the bench, with ice on both ankles, talking quietly with Mascherano. There was no drama. There was no complaint. Only absolute concentration. His coach asked him if he could continue. The response was a slight smile and an always. That word summarizes the entire season. Always available. Always ready. Always lethal. The easy narrative says that Messi came to MLS to cruise. That the competitive level is lower and that is why he shines. That any European star can dominate this tournament without breaking a sweat. The comfortable version of the story paints a player in decline enjoying his final years under the Florida sun, signing autographs and collecting an astronomical salary without real pressure. It's a story that sells well in talk shows and generates quick clicks. The reality is radically different. The 2025 MLS is not the relaxed league of a decade ago. Teams press high, midfielders are athletic and aggressive, and the travels are grueling. Atlanta to Vancouver is more than 4,000 kilometers. Seattle to Miami is nearly 5,000. Each week, a different plane. Each weekend, a different climate. Humid heat in Houston, biting cold in Toronto, altitude in Denver. There is no real rest. And at 38 years old, every kilometer counts double. Messi faced teams that designed specific tactics to nullify him. Permanent double teams. Defensive triangulations that suffocated him as soon as he touched the ball. Midfielders with a single mission, to hit him, wear him down, and take him out of his comfort zone. In the match against Columbus Crew, he received 9 fouls. 9. In 90 minutes. Every tackle was harder than the last. And even so, he scored 2 goals and gave an assistance. Not because the rival was weak, but because his intelligence surpassed any physical strategy. The difference between myth and reality lies in the invisible details. While European analysts criticized the lack of defensive level, they ignored that Messi had completely adapted his game. He no longer needed to dribble past 5 rivals like in Barcelona. Now he executed with 2 touches what he used to do with 10. A directional control, a threaded pass. Goal. There was no unnecessary showmanship. Just brutal efficiency. And that transformation, that evolutionary leap at 38, is what separated this season from anything else we've seen in MLS. Because here a clue appears that changes everything. Messi was not competing against MLS. He was competing against time, against expectations, against the narrative that said he could no longer be the best. Every goal was a statement. Every assist, an answer. Every title, irrefutable proof. The numbers began to pile up like evidence in an inevitable trial. 29 goals in the regular season. It's not just the figure. It's how they arrived. 8 were direct free kicks. 3 were from outside the area in the final minutes of tied games. 5 came in victories by a minimum margin. They weren't decorative goals in easy blowouts. They were goals that decided championships, that built leadership, that broke negative streaks. In May, Inter Miami visited the Red Bull Arena in New York. A difficult pitch, an aggressive rival, a hostile atmosphere. The game was 0-0 in the 87th minute. Messi had been hit, pressed, and marked on every play. It seemed like a gray match, one of those encounters where even geniuses disappear. Then came the corner. The ball was cleared to the edge of the area. And there he was, waiting. 1 touch to set it up, another to shoot. The ball went in, clipping the post. 1-0. Victory. 3 vital points. The New York players fell to their knees. They knew they had done everything right for 89 minutes. But Messi only needed 10 seconds. That ability to appear at the exact moment became his trademark throughout the campaign. Sports psychologists have a term for this: clutch moments. They are those plays that change entire narratives. Messi accumulated 14 clutch moments in the regular season. 14 times in which his direct intervention changed the final result of a match. No other player in MLS exceeded 7. Don't go anywhere, because what comes next connects all the points in a way you didn't expect. The connection with Luis Suárez deserves its own analysis. 18 years of footballing chemistry between them, since those days at Barcelona. But in Miami, it reached a telepathic dimension. Suarez finished the season with 22 goals. 15 of them came after assists or direct participation from Messi. These weren't plays worked out on a chalkboard. They were pure automatisms. Messi looked, Suarez ran. Messi touched, Suarez finished. Rival defenders were caught in a trap with no exit, If they marked Messi, Suarez was left free. If they marked Suarez, Messi executed. And if they marked both, then the others appeared. Because that was the real leap for the team. David Ruiz, a midfielder just 23 years old, had the season of his life. 8 goals from the second line. Coincidence? No. Each of those goals came after spaces generated by Messi. Rivals collapsed on him, and shooting zones were liberated. Jordi Alba, at 36, seemed to have rejuvenated. He pushed up the wing with the energy of a 20-year-old because he knew Messi would find him. 11 assists in the season. His best record since 2018. And this is where the detail no one connected appears. Inter Miami stopped being a one-star team. It became a system where the star multiplied everyone's talent. Collective statistics prove it. The team averaged more than 2 goals per game. Average possession exceeded 60%. But most importantly, goal involvements were distributed. 14 different players scored during the season. It wasn't just the Messi show. It was Messi turning normal players into extraordinary ones. The match against Philadelphia Union in June demonstrated this with brutal clarity. Messi was suspended due to yellow card accumulation. The team took the field without their star. First half, 0-0, flat play, no ideas. But in the second half, something changed. The players began to occupy the spaces that Messi normally inhabited. David Ruiz dropped deeper to distribute. Suarez came down to look for the ball. Jordi Alba attacked with more freedom. They won 2-1. And in post-match interviews, they all repeated the same phrase: "We played thinking about what Leo would do in each situation." Even absent, his influence dominated the match. This detail changes the entire reading of what Inter Miami achieved in 2025. It wasn't one player carrying a mediocre team. It was a player transforming a team into an undisputed champion through his mere presence. The playoffs arrived with that characteristic tension. First rival, Atlanta United. A team that had been knocking out favorites all season. The first leg in Miami ended 1-1. The return in Atlanta was pure definition. Mercedes-Benz Stadium was roaring. 70,000 people screaming against 11 players in pink. Messi walked out of the tunnel with that calm that freezes the blood of rivals. There were no visible nerves. Only absolute concentration. Atlanta pressed high from the start. They wanted to take him out of the game before it began. In the 6th minute, Messi received a studs-up challenge that left a mark on his shin. The referee showed a yellow. It should have been red. But he got up without protesting. In the 23rd minute, another tackle from behind. Another foul. The game was getting dirty. Messi's teammates started to complain. He calmed them with a hand gesture. He was waiting for his moment. Minute 32. Free kick from 26 meters. Slightly angled position. The wall organized with 5 players. Goalkeeper Brad Guzan, veteran of 1,000 battles, shouted instructions. He knew Messi. He knew what was coming. Or so he thought. Because when the ball left Leo's right foot, the trajectory was completely unexpected. He didn't look for the corner. He looked for the space between the first and second player in the wall. The ball went through like a bullet, hit the inside post, and went in. Guzan was left frozen. 1-0. The stadium went silent. Atlanta tried to react, but the blow was too hard. Inter Miami controlled the rest of the match with veteran intelligence. Busquets recovered every loose ball. Wiegand closed the right wing with perfect timing. And when Atlanta launched desperate crosses in the final minutes, Ryan Saylor and Tomas Aviles cleared with authority. Qualification achieved. Next round. But there is a silent factor that explains the impossible. Messi's physical management throughout the season. Mascherano implemented a surgical rotation protocol. In matches against weak rivals, Messi played 60 minutes and came off. No unnecessary heroics. In weeks with a double match day, he rested in one of the 2 encounters. The board, accustomed to selling tickets with his name, had to accept that their biggest investment did not play every minute of every game. And that decision, seemingly simple, was the difference between a brilliant season and a legendary one. Because when the decisive phases arrived, when other players were dragging injuries and accumulated fatigue, Messi was fresh. His playoff numbers prove it. 4 goals in 5 matches. No muscle injuries. No symptoms of wear and tear. At 38, he looked more complete than 25-year-old rivals. The invisible work of the coaching staff deserves recognition. Nutritionists adjusted his diet to optimize recovery. Physiotherapists designed personalized stretching and strengthening routines. Data analysts monitored every sprint, every acceleration, every deceleration. If the numbers indicated a risk of injury, Messi rested. There was no ego. No commercial pressure was worth more than the health of the number 10. And that philosophy, implemented with military discipline, allowed him to reach the final in optimal condition. Comment on what you think of this professional mentality from Messi at 38 years old. The MLS Cup final was played in early December. The rival, LA Galaxy, a league historic with 5 previous titles. The setting, Dignity Health Sports Park in Los Angeles. The weather, perfect. Clear sky, ideal temperature, grass in unbeatable condition. Everything was set for a memorable spectacle. And it was, but not in the way anyone expected. Inter Miami came out with a predictable starting 11, Astari in goal, Wiegand, Aviles, Sailor, and Alba in defense, Busquets as the anchor with Bright and Ruiz ahead of him, and the Messi Suarez Segovia trident in attack. LA Galaxy responded with immediate physical aggression. They wanted to rattle Messi from the first minute. 2 players were always near him. Constant contact. Tactical fouls every time he tried to turn. But Messi had already watched this movie 1,000 times. Instead of seeking individual protagonism, he became the orchestra director. He played quick passes to Busquets, moved, and received in different positions. The Galaxy was chasing shadows. In the 18th minute, the first real dangerous play arrived. Messi dropped to the left wing, received the ball under pressure from 2 rivals, and instead of trying to dribble past them, he played a first-time pass to Alba. The Spanish fullback crossed to the back post where Suarez headed the ball alone. Goalkeeper John McCarthy flew to tip it for a corner. It was only a matter of time. The goal arrived in the 28th minute in an almost poetic fashion. A recovery by Busquets in the middle of the pitch. A threaded pass for Messi coming from deep. A directional control, a feint inside that left his marker sitting down, and a perfect assist for Ruiz arriving from the second line. A low-driven shot. Goal. 1-0. Messi hadn't scored, but he had executed the perfect play. The celebration was collective. The whole team embraced him. They knew who had created that goal. LA Galaxy tried to react before halftime, but Miami's defense was solid. Every Galaxy breakout ended in an Inter recovery. Every potential attack died against Busquets' positional intelligence or Sailor's physical interventions. The first half ended with that slim but deserved lead. Halftime was long. 15 minutes that feel like hours in the locker rooms. Mascherano gathered the team and said 3 words, 45 minutes. Nothing else. They didn't need motivational speeches. They had waited all season for that second half. 45 minutes stood between them and definitive glory. LA Galaxy came out fired up. 2 offensive substitutions. Extremely high pressure. The first 10 minutes were a pure siege. Corner after corner. Shot after shot. Astari flew to save a point-blank header. The defense cleared a ball bouncing toward the goal. Inter Miami resisted with order and suffering. Messi barely touched the ball. The team defended in a low block. But in the 63rd minute, after a cleared corner, the ball reached Busquets' feet in his own half. He lifted his head and saw what no one else did. Messi running through the center, with 2 Galaxy defenders completely pushed up. The pass was perfect. 50 meters through the air. Messi controlled it in stride, entered the box alone. The goalkeeper came out to close the angle, and with a surgeon's subtlety, he chipped the ball over him. 2-0. The stadium went silent. There was no extravagant celebration. Messi raised his arms, his teammates reached him, but there was only concentration on his face. 27 minutes were still left. LA Galaxy attacked with desperation in the final 20 minutes. They pulled one back in the 80th minute with a header following a cross from the wing. 2-1. Nerves in the pink stands. But Inter Miami handled the final minutes with the experience of champions. Short touches, clock management, Tactical fouls. When the referee blew the whistle, the explosion was total. Messi fell to his knees in the center of the pitch. His teammates surrounded him. The cameras captured tears in his eyes. They weren't tears of sadness. They were the tears of a player who had just proven, once again, that age is just a number when talent is combined with intelligence and absolute professionalism. He lifted the MLS Cup surrounded by his teammates. The image will be engraved forever. A 38-year-old player, in his third year in MLS, hoisting the league's most important trophy as if it were the first of his career. Because while everyone spoke of retirement and farewells, Messi was writing another impossible chapter. He transformed a team that had been last in the table just 2 seasons ago into an undisputed champion. The 29 goals are just numbers. The MVP is just an individual trophy. But the MLS Cup, achieved with that perfect blend of individual talent and collective play, represents something much bigger. But his legacy goes beyond sports. While the confetti fell on the Los Angeles grass and the flashes illuminated his face, something bigger was happening. Inter Miami hadn't just won a championship. They had proven that American soccer could attract, retain, and celebrate the greatest player in history without him dropping his level. That is the true revolution. It's no coincidence, and now you're going to see why. When Messi signed for Inter Miami in July 2023, skeptics dominated the conversation. He's going to collect a paycheck and disappear, they repeated. MLS is his golden retirement. But in 2025, those voices vanished. Because the data doesn't lie. His impact transformed not just the club, but the entire structure of the league. MLS season pass audiences multiplied. Matches that used to be watched by 50,000 people were now reaching record figures. It wasn't just to watch him play. It was to see how he redefined what was possible at an age where others barely jog in testimonial matches. Messi's mentality during this season deserves deep analysis. At training, he arrived before everyone else. Chase Stadium employees confirmed that his car appeared in the parking lot an hour and a half before the scheduled time. He didn't come to warm up. He came to practice free kicks with the backup goalkeeper. 50 shots from different angles, each one with a specific intention. Swerve, power, placement. At 38, he was still perfecting details that most consider mastered. His teammates noticed something else. He never complained. 6-hour flights, uncomfortable hotels, training pitches with uneven grass. Zero drama. Busquets commented in a post-season interview that Messi was the first to board the team bus and the last to protest any discomfort. That attitude was contagious. If the greatest player in history didn't complain, who was a 20-year-old youth player to do so? But there is one scene that defines everything. After an intense training session mid-season, with temperatures exceeding 35 degrees in Florida, the team retired to the locker room. Messi stayed on the pitch, alone, practicing directional controls with a technical assistant who threw balls at him from different angles. 20 additional minutes under a scorching sun. When he finally went inside, his shirt was soaked. He said nothing. He showered, changed, and left. Pure professionalism. How many players of his level would do that at 38? The easy version says that Messi won in MLS because the defensive level is low. That any European star can arrive and dominate without effort. That the league lacks the tactical intensity of Europe, and that is why he shines so much. It is a comfortable narrative that ignores uncomfortable realities. The 2025 MLS has coaches who studied in Europe, complex tactical systems, and budgets that attract top-tier international talent. Columbus Crew has a midfield that wouldn't look out of place in the Europa League. LAFC defends with an intensity comparable to mid-table teams in La Liga. The reality is that Messi didn't dominate because the level was low. He dominated because he evolved his game to adapt perfectly to this specific context. In Europe, at 38, he would have needed to run more, defend more, and press more. Physical intensity would have limited his minutes. But in MLS, he found the perfect balance. A competitive level high enough to stay motivated, but with tactical spaces that his intelligence could exploit without depending on pure speed. It's not that the football was easy. It's that Messi found the perfect stage for his final act. And that intelligent adaptation is what separates the good from the immortal. Other players arrived in MLS with brilliant resumes and disappeared. Names that shone in Europe and went out in America.
Why?
Because they came with ego, not hunger. Messi arrived as if he had won nothing. As if those 44 previous titles didn't exist. Every match was a new opportunity to prove himself. Every goal, a new statement. Let me know in the comments if you think there is another player with this mentality. The cultural impact he generated transcends statistics. Children in Miami who used to play basketball are now asking for Inter Miami jerseys for Christmas. Latino families who had never been to a soccer match now fill Chase Stadium every weekend. The club had to expand youth development programs because demand tripled. Hundreds of children wanted to be like Leo. It's not marketing. It's genuine inspiration translated into action. But there is a detail that almost no one noticed. During the season, Messi visited children's hospitals in every city Inter Miami visited. No cameras. No publicity. The club's press teams didn't even know until photos appeared on social media from grateful parents. A child with cancer in Seattle. A girl in a wheelchair in Houston. Teenagers recovering from accidents in Toronto. He arrived with signed shirts, autographed balls, and 30 minutes of his time. For those children, those 30 minutes were worth more than any goal. And he did it systematically, without media noise. That discretion speaks of a character forged far from superficiality. In an era where every gesture from footballers is documented for Instagram, Messi remained the same as 20 years ago. Introverted, shy before cameras, but a giant in silent actions. His teammates noticed it. He didn't need to give motivational speeches in the locker room. His example was enough. He arrived early, worked hard, played through pain when necessary, and celebrated victories as if they were the first of his career. So that would be it, right? Well, no. Because while everyone celebrated the MLS Cup and the MVP, the real story was only beginning to be written. Just when you thought you had it clear, the long-term consequences of what Messi achieved in 2025 appear. Inter Miami didn't just win a championship. They built a foundation that can dominate the decade. The youngsters on the team learned not just tactics from Messi, but mentality. David Ruiz, who was previously an average midfielder, now thinks like a star. Talasco Segovia understands movements that would take years to learn without that daily reference. The club signed players specifically because they wanted to play with Messi. Rodrigo de Paul arrived from Atletico de Madrid to be part of this story. He didn't come for the money. He came because he knows that sharing a locker room with Messi at 38 is a masterclass that no football university can offer. Every training session is a lesson. Every match, a practical seminar on how to think about the game. And while other MLS teams spend fortunes on signings that don't work, Inter Miami built something organic. A system where the star doesn't overshadow the collective, but elevates it. That philosophy won't disappear when Messi retires. It will be engraved in the club's DNA. The youth players now training at Miami's facilities will grow up with videos of this season. They will study how Messi moved without the ball, how he opened spaces just by changing direction, how he turned normal plays into impossible goals. That knowledge will last for generations. But the most impactful part is in the final numbers that no one adds up. 39 titles in his professional career. 8 Ballon d'Ors. A World Cup. 4 Champions Leagues. And at 38, an MLS Cup that many considered minor, but that he celebrated with the same intensity as the 2015 Champions League. Because for Messi, there are no minor titles. There are only competitions that demand everything. And he gave everything in each one. Let's review the pattern. He arrived at a team that was last in the table. In his first half season with them in 2023, they won the League's Cup. In 2024, the Supporters' Shield. In 2025, the MLS Cup. 3 seasons, 3 titles, constant progression. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a low level. It was one player systematically transforming a franchise into a dynasty. But the truth is that the hidden factor behind all this wasn't just his talent. It was his ability to make every teammate play 20% better. That is the invisible magic that statistics don't capture. Jordi Alba had his best season in 5 years because he played calmly knowing Messi would find him. Busquets looked 5 years younger because rivals collapsed on the number 10, freeing up space in the midfield. Suarez, reaching the end of his career, found a footballing rebirth fueled by the chemistry of a lifetime. On the night of the final, after the official celebrations, the team met privately at the hotel. No press, no cameras, just players, coaching staff, and personnel. Mascherano prepared a toast. Glasses were raised, and Messi, in an unusual moment, spoke. He didn't give a long speech. Just 3 sentences that those present will always remember. We came to make history. We made it. But tomorrow we go back to training because this doesn't end. Absolute silence. Then, applause. Because everything was there. Humility, ambition, professionalism. The exact recipe of an eternal champion. The image of Messi lifting the MLS Cup at 38 is not the end of anything. It is the confirmation that greatness has no expiration date when combined with hunger, discipline, and genuine love for the game. While others his age seek comfortable retirements or ambassador roles without physical effort, he continues scoring decisive goals, assisting in finals, and training as if he were 20. It's not normal. It's immortal. That word that appeared in the thumbnail wasn't marketing. It was a prophecy fulfilled. Because what Messi did in 2025 transcends championships and individual records. He proved that football isn't just for fast youngsters. It's for brilliant minds who understand the game as art, science, and passion combined. And in that territory, at 38, he is still the best in the world. No discussion. No debate. With all the evidence on the pitch. And if you think this story is big, wait until you see what he plans for his final season. They said he was coming for a vacation. That his arrival was the beginning of the end. They were completely wrong. They came to see the twilight of an idol and witnessed the birth of a new legend on American soil. Messi didn't close his career in Miami. He redefined it. And in 2025, with 29 goals, an MVP, and the MLS Cup, he wrote the chapter no one saw coming but everyone will remember forever. This isn't football. It's history happening before your eyes.